Today we're going to learn another 10 common idioms, phrases, and sentences that native English speakers use every single day. These expressions are super useful, and I promise by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what these expressions mean and how to use them naturally in your own conversations. Here's how you can get the most out of this video. First, listen while reading the subtitles. This will help you catch every word and follow along more easily. Then, play the video again and try to repeat the sentences out loud, but this time without reading the subtitles. This will really help you improve your pronunciation, listening, and speaking skills. Don't just listen. Pause, reflect, and take notes. That way, you can remember and review them later. This is a great way to boost your listening, reading, and speaking, all at the same time. This lesson is a fun and simple way to improve your English step by step. Before we dive in, if you're finding this helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe. It helps a ton, and I really appreciate your support. All right, let's get started with our first expression. Number 1, it's freezing. This is something you'll hear Americans say all the time, especially during winter months or when we're in cold places. It means that it's extremely cold outside or wherever you are. Now, when we say freezing, we don't literally mean that water is turning into ice, although sometimes it might be that cold. We use this expression to emphasize just how cold we feel. I remember last winter when I stepped outside my apartment in Chicago. The moment I opened the door, the cold air hit my face like a slap. I immediately pulled my jacket tighter and said to my neighbor, "Oh my gosh, it's freezing out here." She laughed and agreed, saying she didn't want to leave her warm apartment either. This is such a natural way to express that you're really feeling the cold. You can use this phrase whenever the temperature feels uncomfortably cold to you. It doesn't have to be below 0 degrees. If you're someone who gets cold easily, you might say this when it's 50 degrees Fahrenheit. It's all about how you personally feel about the temperature. For example, you might say, "I need to grab my coat because it's freezing outside." Here's another one. "Turn up the heat, please, it's freezing in here." People often say, "I can't believe how cold it got so quickly, it's absolutely freezing." Have you ever used this expression before, or do you have a similar phrase in your language? Let me know in the comments. Number 2, I'm trustworthy. This sentence is really important because it's about building relationships and showing your character. When someone says, "I'm trustworthy," they're telling you that you can rely on them, that they're honest, and that they'll keep their promises. It's like saying, "You can count on me," or "I won't let you down." Trust is such a big deal in American culture, and when someone tells you they're trustworthy, they're basically giving you their word that they're a reliable person. This isn't something people say lightly. Usually, you'd hear this when someone is trying to convince you to believe them about something important, or when they want you to feel comfortable sharing something personal with them. I have a friend named Sarah who always says this when she offers to help with something important. Last month, when I was going out of town, I was worried about who could watch my cat. Sarah said, "Don't worry about it, I'm trustworthy. Your cat will be in great hands." And you know what? She was absolutely right. She sent me pictures every day and took amazing care of my pet. For example, if someone is hesitant to lend you something valuable, you might say, "I promise I'll take good care of it." I'm trustworthy. You might hear something like, "I know this sounds crazy, but I'm trustworthy and I really need your help with this." Let's take this one. "I understand why you're worried, but I'm trustworthy and I won't tell anyone your secret." This is such a powerful sentence because it's about your reputation and character. Do you think you could use this expression when you want someone to trust you? Number 3, nothing comes to mind. This phrase is perfect for those moments when someone asks you a question and you just can't think of an answer right away. It's a polite way to say that you're drawing a blank or that you can't remember anything specific at that moment. It's much more natural than saying, "I don't know," all the time. Americans use this expression constantly in conversations, especially when we're trying to be helpful, but we genuinely can't think of anything useful to say. It's not that we don't want to help. It's just that our brain isn't giving us any good ideas at that moment. Just yesterday, my coworker asked me if I knew any good Italian restaurants in our neighborhood. I stood there for a moment, thinking really hard, but I honestly couldn't remember any specific names. So I said, nothing comes to mind right now, but let me think about it and get back to you. It's such a natural response when you need a moment to think or when you truly can't recall anything specific. You can use this when someone asks for recommendations, suggestions, or when they want you to remember something specific. It's polite and honest. For example, if someone asks, "Do you remember any good movies from last year?" You might say, "Nothing comes to mind right now, but I'm sure there were some great ones." Here's another one. "Can you think of anyone who might be interested in this job?" "Well, nothing comes to mind at the moment." People often say, "I'm trying to remember her name, but nothing comes to mind." This is such a useful phrase because it's honest but not rude. Have you ever been in a situation where you couldn't think of anything to say? Number 4, I'll keep that in mind. This phrase is like a polite way of saying, "I'll remember that," or "I'll think about what you just told me." When someone gives you advice, suggestions, or important information, saying, "I'll keep that in mind" shows that you're listening and that you value what they're telling you. It's interesting because this expression doesn't promise that you'll definitely do something, but it shows respect for the person's input. It's like putting their suggestion in a special place in your memory where you can find it later when you need it. My mom is always giving me advice about everything, from cooking to relationships to career choices. Sometimes her suggestions are really helpful, and sometimes they're not exactly what I need at that moment. But I always say, "Thanks, Mom, I'll keep that in mind." It makes her feel heard and valued, and honestly, sometimes her advice does come in handy later when I least expect it. This phrase is perfect for workplace situations, conversations with friends, or any time someone is trying to help you with something. Imagine this. Your friend tells you about a great website for finding cheap flights, and you respond, "That sounds really useful. I'll keep that in mind for my next trip." For example, when your colleague suggests a new way to organize your work, you might say, "I'll keep that in mind and see if it works for me." You might hear something like, "My doctor told me to get more sleep, so I'll definitely keep that in mind." It's such a respectful way to acknowledge someone's help or advice. Let me know in the comments if you think you'll use this expression in your daily conversations. Number 5, I'm sober now. This sentence is about not drinking alcohol or not being under the influence of any substances. When someone says, "I'm sober now," they're usually talking about a significant change in their lifestyle. It often means they've decided to stop drinking alcohol completely, either for health reasons, personal reasons, or because they had problems with drinking in the past. This is actually a pretty serious and personal statement. In American culture, we really respect people who make this choice because we know it can be challenging. When someone tells you they're sober, it's usually because they want you to understand their situation, especially in social settings where drinking is common. I have a friend named Mike who used to drink a lot during college and after graduation. But about 2 years ago, he decided to completely stop drinking because it was affecting his health and relationships. Now, when we go out to bars or parties, he always says, "I'm sober now, so I'll just have a soda or water." Everyone respects his choice, and we make sure he still has fun without alcohol. This sentence can also be used in a lighter way, like when someone was drinking earlier, but now they're not drunk anymore. For example, after a night out, someone might say, "I was pretty tipsy last night, but I'm sober now and ready to drive home." Let's take this one. "I used to drink every weekend, but I'm sober now and I feel so much better." You might hear something like, "Don't worry about me driving, I'm completely sober now." This is an important expression to know because it shows respect for people's personal choices. Have you ever heard this phrase used in movies or TV shows? Number 6. What are your symptoms? This question is something you'll hear all the time in medical situations, but it's not just for doctors and nurses. Friends, family members, and coworkers use this question when they're concerned about someone who isn't feeling well. Symptoms are the signs or feelings that show something might be wrong with your health. So when someone asks, "What are your symptoms?" they want to know exactly how you're feeling, what hurts, or what seems different about your body or mind. Last month I wasn't feeling well, and when I called my sister, she immediately asked, "What are your symptoms?" I told her I had a headache, felt tired, and had a sore throat. She suggested I drink more water and rest, but also said I should see a doctor if I didn't feel better in a few days. It's such a caring way to ask about someone's health. You'll hear this question from healthcare professionals, but also from people who care about you and want to help. It's a way of gathering information to understand what might be wrong. People often say, "You look pale today, what are your symptoms?" For example, if your friend calls in sick to work, you might ask, "Oh no, what are your symptoms? Is there anything I can do to help?" Here's another one. "I think I might be getting sick, but I'm not sure what my symptoms mean." This question shows that you care about someone's well-being. It's much better than just asking what's wrong, because it asks for specific details. Do you think you could use this question when someone you care about isn't feeling well? Number 7. Not getting involved. This phrase is all about staying out of other people's business or drama. When someone says, "I'm not getting involved," or just "not getting involved," they're basically saying they don't want to be part of a conflict, argument, or complicated situation between other people. Americans value personal boundaries, and sometimes the best thing you can do is stay neutral when other people are having problems. It doesn't mean you don't care. It means you're being smart about not making the situation worse or more complicated. I work in an office where sometimes my coworkers have disagreements about projects or personal issues. Last week, two of my colleagues were arguing about how to handle a client, and they both came to me asking for my opinion and support. I listened to both of them, but then I said, "I understand you're both frustrated, but I'm not getting involved in this one. You two need to work it out together." It was the right choice because they eventually solved their problem without dragging me into their conflict. This expression is perfect for family drama, friend disputes, workplace conflicts, or any situation where people want you to pick sides. Imagine this. Your two friends are fighting and they both want you to agree with them, so you might say, "I care about both of you, but I'm not getting involved in your argument." For example, when coworkers are gossiping about someone, you could say, "That sounds complicated, but I'm not getting involved." You might hear something like, "My parents are arguing about money again." but I'm definitely not getting involved. It's such a useful phrase for protecting your peace and maintaining good relationships with everyone. Which of these situations do you think you might use this expression in? Number 8. I'm just browsing. This phrase is a lifesaver when you're in stores and you don't want pushy salespeople bothering you. When you say, I'm just browsing, you're letting people know that you're just looking around casually without any specific plan to buy something right away. Browsing means looking through things in a relaxed way, like when you're walking through a bookstore just enjoying looking at different books, or when you're in a clothing store just seeing what's available. You're not in a hurry, and you don't need help from anyone at that moment. This happens to me all the time when I go shopping. Just last weekend, I walked into an electronics store, and immediately a salesperson came up to me asking, "Can I help you find anything specific today?" I smiled and said, "Thanks, but I'm just browsing right now." He said, "No problem, let me know if you need anything," and walked away. It was perfect because I could look around peacefully without feeling pressured to buy something. You can use this phrase in any store, market, or shopping situation where someone offers to help you, but you want to look around by yourself first. For example, when you enter a clothing store and a worker approaches you, you might say, "Hi, thanks, but I'm just browsing today." Let's take this one. "I don't need any help right now, I'm just browsing to see what you have." People often say, "I'm just browsing, but I'll let you know if I have any questions." This phrase is so helpful because it's polite but clear. It lets salespeople know you don't need assistance without being rude. Have you ever needed to use an expression like this when shopping? Number 9. Sorry to keep you waiting. This polite expression is something you'll hear Americans say whenever they're late or when they make someone wait for them. It's a way of acknowledging that someone's time is valuable and apologizing for any inconvenience you might have caused. We use this phrase in so many different situations. When we're late for meetings, when we take too long to respond to messages, when we keep someone on hold during phone calls, or any time we think someone had to wait longer than they should have because of us. Just this morning, I was supposed to meet my friend for coffee at 10 a.m., but I got stuck in traffic and arrived 15 minutes late. The first thing I said when I saw her was, "I'm so sorry to keep you waiting. The traffic was absolutely crazy." She was understanding, but I felt better knowing that I acknowledged her time and apologized properly. This expression shows good manners and consideration for other people. It's much better than just showing up late without saying anything or making excuses. You might hear something like, "Sorry to keep you waiting, I had to finish up a phone call." For example, if you're meeting someone and you arrive late, you could say, "Sorry to keep you waiting, I couldn't find parking anywhere." Here's another one. "I know you've been waiting for my answer. Sorry to keep you waiting, but I needed time to think about it." This phrase shows respect for other people's time, which is really important in American culture. Let me know in the comments if you've ever had to use an apology like this. Number 10. I'd like to take you out. This sentence is often used when someone wants to invite someone on a date or to spend time together in a romantic way. When someone says, "I'd like to take you out," they're usually asking if you want to go somewhere together, like dinner, a movie, or some other activity, and they're probably planning to pay for it. Taking someone out means you're the one organizing the plans and usually covering the expenses. It's a traditional way of showing interest in someone and wanting to spend quality time with them. However, this expression can also be used in non-romantic ways, like when friends or family members want to treat each other to something special. I remember when my current boyfriend first asked me out. We had been talking for a few weeks after meeting at a coffee shop, and one day he nervously said, "I really enjoy our conversations, and I'd like to take you out to dinner this weekend if you're interested." It was so sweet and straightforward. I said yes, and we had a wonderful time at this little Italian restaurant downtown. The phrase can be used for romantic dates, but also for celebrations or just being generous with people you care about. Imagine this. You want to celebrate your friend's new job, so you might say, "Congratulations on your promotion. I'd like to take you out for lunch to celebrate." For example, if you're interested in dating someone, you could say, "I've really enjoyed getting to know you, and I'd like to take you out sometime." People often say, "It's my mom's birthday next week, and I'd like to take her out for a nice dinner." This expression is charming because it shows thoughtfulness and generosity. Do you think you'd feel comfortable using this phrase to ask someone on a date or to treat a friend? Let's recap what we learned today. We covered 10 incredibly useful expressions that native English speakers use in everyday conversations. We learned how to talk about cold weather with its freezing, how to build trust by saying, "I'm trustworthy," and how to politely say you can't think of something with "nothing comes to mind." We also learned to show we're listening with "I'll keep that in mind," to talk about sobriety with "I'm sober now," and to ask about health with "What are your symptoms?" Then we explored how to stay out of drama with "not getting involved," how to shop peacefully with "I'm just browsing," how to apologize for delays with "sorry to keep you waiting," and how to invite someone special out with "I'd like to take you out." All of these expressions will make your English sound more natural and help you connect better with native speakers. Remember, the key is to practice using them in real situations, so don't be afraid to try them out. If this video helped you learn something new, please hit that like button and subscribe for more English lessons. I post new videos with 10 more idioms, phrases, and sentences every day, so there's always something new to learn. Which of these 10 expressions was your favorite today? Let me know in the comments below. Take care and keep practicing your English. I'll see you tomorrow with 10 more amazing expressions that will make you sound like a native speaker. Until then, have a wonderful day.